Let's talk a little bit about switching back and forth between different heartbeat communities. Okay, if you don't know me, I'm Misty Dorman from mistydorman.com and lifeninjatraining.com. I help overwhelmed entrepreneurs implement systems, strategies, tools, and tech to save time and mental calories growing their business. I'm very active in the heartbeat community, and I've seen this question come in several times. And this is how it works right now as of September 2022. Things could change, but I hope this is helpful. Okay, so this document that we are looking at is actually part of my Heartbeat Admins resource guide. I will put a link below to where you can grab that. I'm just kind of documenting everything I can think of as I see questions come in Heartbeat's community, the Hearth. And just as I work through testing things, I will just keep adding to this document. Okay, so this is actually from a post that I made in Heartbeat's community on the 7th of September. And I'm just trying to clarify how community switching works, and also talking through a little bit about how the your email works. You'll see how that ties in. But the emails that you have set um, on your back end, like in your account settings. Okay, so on mobile or desktop app, these are the apps, not your Chrome browser or your web browser. Okay, the way that you switch communities is just to click the oh, that should say logo. Click the logo. Oops, I can't type today. There we go. Click the logo in the upper left corner of the app. Okay, so you're going to see in the app, I'll just bring mine up real quick. 1 second. Okay. So right here, you will see the logo and the community name. You just click that, and it's going to show you in a drop down all the different communities that you are part of, and it works the same way on mobile that it does on desktop app. Okay. On browser, so this is like your Chrome browser, okay, or whatever browser you're using. If you want to be able to switch back and forth between all of your communities in one tab, so like this probably most applies to Heartbeat community admins, but you may have some members that are part of multiple Heartbeat communities, and they're like, how do I get back and forth? Okay, if you want to be able to switch, just like you can in the app, you need to go to this URL, app.heartbeat.chat, and then you'll be able to use the logo in the upper left corner. Okay. If you go to the community's URL, that does not work necessarily. Okay. It depends on how the admin has the community set. So if the community, like the admin has configured the community to direct users to their homepage or some other URL, okay, from that logo image, then that seems to only come into play when actually the custom domain is being used. It may also come into play if you have like the default. Actually, I think I can test that. Hang on. Okay, I just wanted to confirm. So when you create your community, as in, you've created your community for the first time and you have not set up your custom domain, your URL is app.heartbeat.chat / something. Okay. So that is when all the little community switching just kind of automatically works. But when you set up your custom domain, so like here's my custom domain, community.lifeninjatraining.com. When you set that up, that's where the admin has some control over it. So you are able to kind of brand yourself a little bit away from Heartbeat. And you can say right here, this is the setting. I want to direct users to my own URL, basically. So on mine, for example, I'm sending them to my sort of store site where all my products and resources and everything are located. So if they're in my community, they might want to go back to like a course or something that they have for me that's located on my product site. Or they might want to go see what other resources I have. So I'm pointing them to my own thing, not allowing them to community switch from desktop browser. Okay, that's the only place that comes into play. In that case, what people need to do is go to each individual's community's URL, right? If you're part of a community, you, especially one that you paid for, but if you're part of a community that you're going to access regularly from desktop, you should probably bookmark the URL for that community, have it saved somewhere, whatever, right? You're going to specifically go to that community. You're going to say like, hey, let's see what's happening in Life Ninjas today. And you're going to go to my community domain. You're not going to Heartbeat's domain, if that makes sense. The reason it's different in the app is because the only way to access a community is through the app. So for example, on mobile, you can't get to a community from the browser. You have to use the app. So you have to be able to community switch from the app. That's how it's set up today as I'm recording this. Okay, so I've seen this question about, can I remove communities from my app to stop notifications or something like that by changing my email address? Okay. The short answer is not anymore, not in that way. So it looks like Heartbeat just this past week implemented a feature request that was out there for us to be able to have a separate email address for notifications versus email address that we access the community with, that we log into Heartbeat with. Okay. I think that was so, like, for example, if you have a Google Calendar set up that you use for all your business, like calendar events, that might be completely different email address you use for that than the email that you use to log into Heartbeat. Okay. So if that's the case, you can set up two separate emails. With the way that it's configured now, you can no longer just be like, well, I'm going to change my email address in the Hearth, for example, to log in separately and not have it part of my Heartbeat app on mobile, that type of thing. You basically just can't do it anymore. And let me just reiterate how it works. So now you have this community email and this login email field. I'm actually hoping they'll add one more, but one for like your support email that would be like customer facing within your community, because mine is completely different than either of these. So maybe I'll make that request, or just reiterate that there should be like a little some other aspect of this. But for right now, the community email is the email that you use to receive emails from Heartbeat, such as event reminders, weekly digests from the communities that you're in. And like I said, I set this to be the email address that I use for my Google Calendar for my work stuff, my home business stuff, so that when I RSVP to an event on the email that I receive, it will show up in the correct calendar, okay, the right account. My login email, or your login email, that's the same across all of your Heartbeat communities. So if you get logged out, this is the email address that you would enter in to get your new like 6-digit login code that, they email you a 6-digit code. You go put that into the little the little magic link thing, the 6-digit code spot on the website, and it will log you back in to like all of Heartbeat pretty much if you're using the app. Okay. So I hope that clarifies that. So that means if you don't want a specific community showing up in your mobile app because you don't want the notifications, changing your email address to something different will no longer work. Okay. I have seen some people mentioning that app notifications are not working as expected or how they expect, or that changing their notifications is somehow affecting all of the communities. I haven't personally tested this yet myself or noticed it, but I would recommend checking for an existing bug report or creating a new bug report over in Heartbeat's feature requests area, bug report website. Okay. Okay. And you should, I need to take that out. Boop. Okay, so you should be able to change your notifications for each community separately. So like I said, if that's not working or it seems like it broke with this new email feature, something like that, be sure to let the Heartbeat team know so they know to go and look at it. Okay, and I do have a video on notifications. I'm trying to remember if it's on YouTube or if it's just inside my template pack. But let me just explain, or in case like maybe you think notifications isn't working correctly for you, but maybe it is. Currently, the way mobile notifications works is the notifications that you get when you like swipe down from the top of your phone and you see like, oh, I have Heartbeat notifications. That count is going to be differently from the notifications that you see inside of each of your communities, because it's like a conglomeration of all of the communities that you're in. On Android right now, it caps at 24, and mine just sits there with a 24 on my Heartbeat app until I go in and clear that out in the area of my phone notifications. So if I go inside of the app into a community, and I see all that community's notifications there and kind of clear those out, that does not affect my phone app notifications. I need to clear that out separately. I'm not 100% sure how it works on iPhone. I think at some point I remember somebody saying that it would just show like a 1, and mine shows 24, like it caps at 24 and then it stops showing them to me. So I'm not sure, like iOS must work a little bit differently, but just know that your phone notifications are something a little different from like the notifications inside of the community. So I hope that helps. I'm going to share some resources down below. I will share a link for you to go sign up and grab this free guide. This is just like one page in this entire resource guide that I've created. I also made a video on the resource guide itself, so I will link to that as well. And do let me know down below if you have any questions. All right, bye Ninja. See you in the next video.